Tonight on NAIT NewsWatch.
Know what to do in case of a cardiac catastrophe.
CPR basically keeps the blood flowing.
Find out what you can get for free on your birthday.
We like to give something to the people that are coming out to celebrate.
Two Edmonton filmmakers explain their struggles in the local film industry.
Going on and then just hitting a brick wall.
NewsWatch starts now.
Welcome to NAIT NewsWatch Extra. This week we're switching it up a little bit. We're leaving the desk and going out into our community.
This past semester, we've been working on stories that will not only inform you, they'll also inspire you.
Our first story discusses how doctors are always looking for less invasive ways to diagnose patients.
Drew Miller tells us more about interventional radiology and how it uses both X-rays and ultrasound.
Interventional radiology is a subdivision of radiology. It works with ultrasound and X-ray to be able to see the underlying problems within the patient. Dr. Harneil Sidhu has been practicing interventional radiology for 6 years and explains this type of medicine is always changing and evolving.
I'm doing things much differently than I was 6 years ago. That makes us pretty interesting, but hard to pin down and difficult to explain to people because we're kind of doing something different each year and we're always learning.
There are many different kinds of procedures that an IR doctor has to do on any given day.
In any given day I show up to work, I could be doing 1 out of 50 different kinds of procedures. We are subspecialists, meaning almost all our referrals happen to be from other specialists.
Dr. Sidhu also mentioned that ultrasound is the new stethoscope for all doctors to be able to see inside the body so they can diagnose. Now the procedures are minimally invasive by sticking a wire, a tube, or a probe into the patient to get a diagnosis. Richard Owen, another interventional radiologist, performed a procedure on a patient using ultrasound to help guide him.
As you saw, I went in through the skin using ultrasound guidance to target a dilated bile duct, puncture that with a needle, put a guide wire through that needle into the bile duct, and then over the guide wire we put a series of catheters, and then put a bit of contrast in. That's a dye that's visible under X-ray guidance to see where the narrow spot is, and then used imaging to persuade the guide wire to go through the narrow spot. And then in that case, we got a catheter through and we transferred the patient to endoscopy.
This type of technology is extremely beneficial to patients as it is a lot easier to complete the procedure the first time by using ultrasound opposed to not using ultrasound.
So the simple benefit there is that in the olden days it was accepted. Oh, you didn't get in the first time, you punctured again and again as long as the patient had freezing in. Now, basically, we get in the first time. So it's less pain, it's faster for the patient.
When asked what Dr. Owen thought would be the next area of growth within radiology, he believes they are making excellent strides within the area of interventional oncology.
You know, I think the big area of growth there is probably interventional oncology, which is where we treat cancer patients. Basically, we're doing a lot of treatment of liver cancer, either primary liver cancer or secondary liver cancer. So that's a big growth area.
Drew Miller, NAIT NewsWatch Extra.
Heart Month has just come to an end, and it's important for athletes to remember to keep a healthy heart. It can make a drastic impact on their game.
Along with athletes, everyone should be aware of their heart's health. Bridget Singh has more on your heart and how to keep it beating.
The heart. It beats 80 times per minute, 115,000 times per day, and around 42 million times a year. Every beat counts, and every pulse matters. But what happens when it doesn't match up, or if something goes horribly wrong during a hockey game?
We had one of our players that experienced some chest pains in a game earlier this year, and precautionary reasons took him out of the game. And as it turned out, there was potential cardiac issues there. So we made sure we kept him off the ice, kept him away from practice, away from any competition or activity until we could rule out after a cardiologist's visit that nothing was wrong. So you have to exercise good judgment.
Good judgment made by athletic therapists such as Matt Jaworski. He is accounted for to be on the bench at every game and every practice the NAIT men's hockey team has.
We keep the athletes healthy off the ice, so whether it be with injuries, we work on rehab, we work on getting them stronger and better and increase their performance overall. And then during the games and practices, we're there for any emergency situations.
It sounds easy, but it is the matter to a player's life or death. While the recent Rich Pepperly situation may have brought attention to the priority of players' health in the game of hockey, most importantly, it was a wake-up call to learn how to save a life within minutes. Cameron Bredner and Adam Nichols are emergency paramedic students at NAIT. They recognize how important cardiopulmonary resuscitation, otherwise known as CPR, and the use of a defibrillator is to an unconscious patient.
You use it concurrently with CPR. It's part of the process. CPR basically keeps the blood flowing as you're getting the monitor set up, and then the defibrillator is what actually resets the heart, hopefully into a organized manner, and allows the heart to pick up the slack and take back over that job of moving blood through the body.
While most defibrillators we use may not be as conditioned as the one used on ambulances or in hospitals, but it can still do its part in the process.
The ones that are available to the public, the automated ones, are smart. They can actually detect the rhythm that someone's heart is in when you put them on, so you can't hurt someone by putting a defibrillator on them. If you think that someone might need one, go ahead and put one on, and the monitor itself will actually tell you whether or not a shock is advised.
Bridget Sang, NAIT NewsWatch Extra.
When you think of fun, your mind might wander to sports, beaches, laughing, and friends.
But many might be surprised to find out that a local nursing home is incorporating all of those and more into a recreation program.
Dakota Barber has more on that story.
The Good Samaritan Care Center is just 40 kilometers west of Edmonton in the town of Stony Plain. The facility has been up and running out of their new location for 2 years, complete with spacious rooms and plenty of windows that keep the residents from feeling glum. Deb Gorlick, the care center's recreational therapy aide, also keeps the residents feeling positive through her quirky outlook on life and unique way she runs the recreation program.
We have socials, we have functions, we have teas, we go out on bus trips. We do all the fun stuff.
Along with the usual expected entertainment activities, Deb likes to make up her own. Indoor beach hockey came straight out of her imagination, where she has the residents use pool noodles to whack beach balls past a goalie.
I just want you to move, okay? I want you to move your hands, I want you to move your feet, and I want you to get the ball in the goalie. And it's very active. They get to bend, they get to stretch, they get to swing, which is really a lot of fun. Go through.
Deb also keeps a year-round Christmas tree up that her and the seniors decorate monthly, with everything from ties for Father's Day to flip-flops for the summer months.
It's really good what we've had, and we enjoy it an awful lot. I enjoy doing this with the balls and stuff like that, and just to keep active.
Deb radiates positive energy and good vibes, despite the tragedies she's faced through her life.
It needs to be positive for me in my life. The loss of my son was very tragic and sudden, but he wouldn't want me to be sad and medicated and not, I need to be where I need to be, and this is where it led me to recreation, and I'm so blessed to have this job.
Making the transition into a nursing home can be hard on a lot of seniors, but it's great to know there's people like Deb working to make all their days a little bit brighter. But she can't do it alone. The Good Samaritan Care Center relies heavily on volunteers to make all their activities go smoothly. With 160 seniors in the building and only 3 recreation aides, Deb says volunteers are absolutely essential to help with portering, special events, and simply just to visit.
Some of the residents, they don't get to see their family much, and sometimes they don't get to see kids that much, so when I'm walking around, talking to them and all that, they always have smiles on their faces.
Dakota Barber, NAIT NewsWatch Extra.
Coming up after the break, a Goodwill employee shares her accomplishments.
To represent my country, Congo, democratic, that's why I came to Canada.
We explore a local indie performance space.
Once you get that connection with the people, that's what really matters, and it's always like that at Bohemia.
Goodwill employs thousands of people every year.
And while every employee is special in their own way, they also have many accomplishments of their own.
Krista Martell has more on that story.
Goodwill Industries of Alberta is a social enterprise that opened its retail doors in 1963 under the operation of the Edmonton Physically Handicapped Association. Today, Goodwill has a mission to provide individuals with disabilities the opportunity to enhance their lives through meaningful employment. Dale Monahan has been president and CEO for 2 years and agrees that Goodwill is a one-of-a-kind.
A social conscience, a social
aspect of what we're all about, and really what we're all about is profit with purpose. So you take the best of both worlds, the corporate, the nonprofit, you merge it into a very unique social enterprise.
A big contribution to the company's success are the amazing employees within the organization. Dali Sankha-Kazadi is a former Olympian who came to Canada in 2001 to compete in the 800-meter event at the World Championships in athletics.
I come to represent my country, Congo, Democratic. That's why I came to Canada. And then I decided to stay here.
Making the move from Congo Democratic to Canada was a difficult transition for Dali.
It was very hard for me when I come to Canada. Very hard because I don't know English, and then I can speak English. And then when I'm coming here, I look at English courses. I take just for like 2 months or something like that one because I need something to survive for myself.
Dali came to Goodwill 10 years ago and has found it to be very beneficial.
When I come to Goodwill, I find something special. Because when I come in here, I don't know and I understand, but people, they understand me. They show me, now I'm able to communicate with them and then to speak a little bit English, and my English become better and better and better. Whatever happens, we are family in here. I like working in here. I have another job, 2 jobs, but I prefer to work at Goodwill.
Having an employee like Dali has given more diversity from a cultural perspective that Dale has been inspired by.
Having somebody originate from the Congo is very unique. I don't think very many organizations would have that blessing. And so her perspective, her life's experiences enriches others that are around her, including me.
Goodwill is a growing company with so many amazing people working here. Our donations help keep the company going. So go through your closet, find that piece of clothing you outgrew, or that item that you haven't used in a while. Bring it to Goodwill. It just might be the hidden gem that someone has been looking for. For NewsWatch Extra, I'm Kristen Martell.
Bohemia is described as a district where the arts can live and thrive.
This place of avant-garde living is the namesake of Edmonton's up-and-coming arts performance space.
Our own Mary Charbonneau has more on that story.
The story of the Bohemia didn't start at its current location on 97th Street and 102nd Ave. 15 years ago, the Bohemian Cyber Cafe resided on Jasper for over 10 years. However, in 2009, it closed its doors due to the rising rent and dwindling funds.
They went looking for a new space to be a venue because they started doing what they called art music shows at the Cyber Cafe, where they would just bring in performers to put on like a show, play some songs, and artists to put up art on the walls.
Art Musica kept the Bohemia alive even though it changed venues a couple times. At its more permanent home, the Bohemia is now a fully licensed lounge and performance space where musicians and artists congregate to share their art. The price, diversity, and the atmosphere is what makes the Bohemia a unique space in Edmonton. The Bohemia charges $50 for the space or $100 for the space plus lighting. Saxophone professor Dr. Alison Balchetis finds the price very reasonable.
You can name your own ticket price, and I think you make 100% of the door, so it's totally doable for almost any range of musician.
This low price allows different genres and experience levels to perform, gain experience, and build a name. Eric Bishop, drummer of Latchco Drome, describes what a diverse night at the Bohemia is like.
One time we played a show, and it was with the rap people because they're trying to get a hip-hop thing going as a regular show here. And that crowd is totally different from the crowd that we normally play with, like a heavy punk crowd, but they loved it. And it's like, once you get that connection with the people, that's what really matters. And it's always like that at Bohemia.
When asked to describe the Bohemia, a theme started to emerge.
It's not at all intimidating, and it's very welcoming, and anything goes.
Very unique, and it's very welcoming. You're always welcome here.
The future of the Bohemia is uncertain as the establishment is only breaking even, but Shelsky says it's not the money that's important.
We, the people who are in here running Bohemia, aren't in it for any short-term profit. We're hoping that if we can come in and keep this thing going, that maybe in 5 or 10 years it'll be something that's sort of become an institution and is just a hub of creativity in the city.
Mary Charbonneau, NAIT NewsWatch. It's your birthday, and you have 0 plans and 0 money. No problem, put away your wallet.
By the end of this feature, you'll have an entire day planned, all for free and all for you.
Tamara Canoe has more on that story.
Start the day off right with a good breakfast that won't break the bank. You could call it a grand slam. Well, not could. You would, because it is a grand slam, and has some Edmontonians taking the time to think about their next birthday.
If I get a free breakfast, I might actually. Definitely.
Do not wish to celebrate my birthday at Denny's.
You've just finished eating breakfast and the morning is still fresh. Why not walk along Victoria Promenade? It's one of Edmonton's best views and it's often overlooked. Red Robin's is known for their gourmet burgers and catchy songs, but their birthday giveaway is more than a mouthful.
We get free burgers as well for the adults. It gets out there and people come here again. We want repeat business, right? Because any business needs repeat business, so it's good for that.
Grilled and made specially for you. One burger of choice for the birthday guy or gal. They've got your burger covered. Thirsty? Why not try one of their signature bottomless drinks? By now you've had breakfast, lunch, went on a walk, hopefully had at least one dessert. So what's next? Well, how about a laugh?
Laughing is a contagious thing.
The comic strip at West Edmonton Mall gives away free tickets to a show on your birthday. For an organization like the comic strip, it felt like a no-brainer.
You know, and it brings good clientele in and hopefully a group of people. So on a business aspect, we like to make money. On another good note, we like to give something to the people that are coming out to celebrate.
The show is over, you've hopefully eaten enough, and now you crave the royal treatment even more. Why not take a night out on the town in style? Knoxville's on Jasper Avenue sends a free limo to pick you up from any location in Edmonton. They'll drive you to the bar and offer you some questionable gifts.
What exactly is a mustache ride?
A mustache ride? Well, as you can see behind us, we definitely have the first class mechanical mustache ride, which is supposed to operate and look like a mustache, and people have every way to try to hold on. It's kind of like a mechanical bull, but it's shaped in a mustache.
For more information on all of these freebies and more, visit naitnewswatch.ca. Tamara Canoe, NAIT NewsWatch Extra. Coming up after the break, a local girl achieves her dream with the help of YouTube.
The fact that I could inspire somebody else inspires me to play music, just like other artists inspire us.
Young dancers get the chance to showcase their talent on a professional level.
It's a really unique way for us to be able to show our work to an audience in a very professional way that not a lot of amateur choreographers get a chance to do.
NAIT NewsWatch Outerwear is sponsored by Pinnacle Sportswear and Michener Allen Auctioneering.
Haircut and color provided by Ivory Noir, Edmonton's first color correction salon.
The art of dance combines light, music, and movement.
Victoria's School of Performing Arts allows students to create their own showcases in leaps and bounds.
Krishaline Medalliar has more on the story.
Leaps and Bounds is a showcase, part of the art season at Victoria Composite, and is put on every year. Students go through an entire audition process just as they would in the real world.
Great opportunity to explore the boundaries of what dance means. We're given a rehearsal process of about 5 months, I believe it is, and in that time we create our own movement, and we have cast dancers to perform this movement.
This creates a safe setting for young dancers to explore all boundaries in dance. From tap to lyrical, it's the perfect chance for dancers to learn, create, and grow. With that comes a chance to choreograph pieces themselves.
A unique platform for students to be able to showcase their choreographed work on a professional stage. We get to include our own lighting design, sound, and all of that. And it's a really unique way for us to be able to show our work to an audience in a very professional way that not a lot of amateur choreographers get a chance to do.
The creativity and thought that that goes into the making of the pieces may not just be seen on stage, but in every single detail that the student choreographers put into their numbers.
Is called Life with brackets around the IF portion of it, because I wanted to kind of do a piece about like puzzles and how things fit together and stuff like that, and I found it kind of interesting how the if portion of life fit into that, like how they...
Students will be hard at work all year for their art season, and if you want to see them perform, make sure you check out the Victoria School of Art's website for their art season. For NAIT NewsWatch Extra, this is Krishleen Mudaliar.
YouTube is a tool for many people with strange talents to expand their audience.
Connor Chan introduces us to an Edmontonian trying to make it big on the internet.
This is our house, this is our rules, and we can't stop, and we won't stop.
It started non-officially when I was 6 years old, and Janet Jackson's song Someone to Call My Lover came out, and I decided I wanted to be Janet Jackson. But it was about age 13 when I actually started to learn guitar that I took it seriously.
From a young age, Dawn Schreier seemed to be new music everywhere she went, and knows that if she is famous one day, she wants to inspire people with her music the same way she feels inspired.
The fact that I could inspire somebody else inspires me to play music, just like other artists inspire us. You don't like somebody anymore and you can find a way to tell them, or to tell them that you love somebody, or whether it's just makes you want to dance. That's kind of what inspires me to do music, that I can inspire someone else.
You can call me Queen Bee, and baby I rule.
Covering various genres, writing her own songs, and even some performances seem to be getting her on the right track to a career. But there is one singer in particular that has always been a prime example for her.
Taylor Swift. She's the first person that comes to mind. Being the songwriter and playing a guitar and whatnot.
One of her biggest influences was her father, who passed away when she was just 16, and she still uses music to help cope through tough times.
It totally helps, and it's a way to get it out there creatively too, as opposed to just making a Facebook status.
Taylor Brinder has known Dawn for years and knew that she had a real talent for music from the time they first met.
Dawn was always a natural. When we first met, she was taking guitar and vocal lessons, so she was progressing. She didn't take lessons for long after that, but she was always a natural.
With all the pieces seen to be in place, a career in music would be Dawn's future plan. However, she does have some words for those passionate upcoming artists.
Never stop doing it to start. And if you work hard, you could do pretty much anything that you put your mind to.
For NAIT NewsWatch Extra, I'm Connor Chan.
Filmmaking has a reputation of being full of glitz and glamour, but Edmonton isn't quite there.
Our own Daniel Stillwell has more on the struggles of filmmaking in Edmonton.
No, Mary, I know it's hard. I know it's hard.
Starting a new business isn't always the easiest thing to do, and when your chosen field is filmmaking, it doesn't get much harder, especially in Alberta. Justin Cotty is one of those filmmakers trying to make it in Alberta. The Red Deer College Motion Picture Arts graduate is one of the brains behind 201 Pictures, an Edmonton-based film and theater company started during his time at RDC. Cotty says it's easy to get used to the advantages while you're at school, so it can come to quite a shock when you lose it all.
Basically going from filming all the time, always having something going on, and then just hitting a brick wall and losing everything. Like, we lost all our equipment. All of the actors that we were working with in film school went to completely different parts of the province and Canada.
With hardly any budget, starting from scratch can be hard.
At this point, I myself have spent about $4,000 on equipment. I purposely went in trying to just going for a more expensive camera because I wanted the quality, and I knew long term that I could get smaller projects that I could get paid for, as like weddings or commercial ventures are something that you can use to pay back.
Sam Reed is another Edmontonian who is passionate about filmmaking, and he also puts his skills to other uses to fuel his ambitions.
I own a small business with my friend James, and we do marketing for small businesses around St. Albert and Edmonton. Mostly, and where I come into play for that is I do photography for it, and like any of the graphic design stuff we need to do.
Cotty and Reed found each other at college and have teamed up to create whatever they want to. The two are currently working together on a parody soap opera web series called The Turning of Time. Cotty is acting in it and directing, while Reed is the cinematographer and editor. Their partnership has helped them produce films like these, but having a small company isn't without its sacrifices.
Visually, there's things you can achieve, so you either have to make it part of the look of it, or you have to get creative and find a way around it.
Their current project was started at the end of 2013, and filming is scheduled to wrap up in early spring, which leaves most of the summer for editing the dozen-episode series. Daniel Stillwell, NAIT NewsWatch Extra.
Thanks for joining us for our second last episode of NAIT Newswatch. Tune in next week to see the rest of our classmates share their story.
If you're not sick of us, you can join us at naitnewswatch.ca or follow us at NAIT Newswatch. Good night.
Good night.